I think it's a major problem. I mean, me personally, I know a lot of people, like my friends who have experienced it, and I mean, they don't talk about it, or it's not a thing where, we make a big deal about it, but they just look at it like, oh, it's just something that happens. But it's a major problem. It's a serious issue. And like I said, I mean, a lot of people know about it. It's not something that's on the hush. People don't talk about it, but it's not something that is completely abstract idea. So we know that it's real. We know it's occurring. And I think that makes it more of a problem because we're looking it straight in the face and we're just acting like it's not there rather than addressing it. It's a major problem. I think it's just, something people are sensitive about. Like, back in the day, people were sensitive about having single parents, but now my generation, it's nothing to grow up in a single parent household. And this is just our fight. This is our thing that we don't really want to talk about, dating violence and all the things that come, are in kind of that same umbrella, things that, sexual assaults and bullying, all those things are things that we really don't want to talk about. Those are just the taboos of our time, I guess. I think the biggest fear is, if anything, is just hurting the other person. They're abusing you or whatever the case may be, but if you tell, they have a chance to go into jail or getting in trouble, being expelled, anything, and that could ruin their future. And a lot of times, these people, these kids are in love, or at least feel like they're in love. They're head over heels, so they don't want to hurt the person that they're with, even though they're being hurt. And so, but I definitely think shame is a big part of it, because I think people are ashamed of pain, period. I think, just the human race is ashamed of, having those battle scars and, going through things and going through negative times. Even though it's something we all do, it's also something that we seem to feel like, I can't let the world know that I've went through pain, even though every single other person in the world has went through it too. And so I just think it's a part of that, but it's just in the smaller sect of teens. A thing that needs to be done to help stop the problem is stop it at its source. And when I say that, I mean, I always remember this quote that Kurt Cobain used to say where, you know, there were anti-rape programs that would help teach women how to protect themselves from rape rather than teaching men not to rape. And I think it's just the same thing, whether, male or female, just from a young age, people need to be taught what abuse is, how to recognize it, how to know if you're in it. And I mean, a lot of the times people are growing up in these environments, so you also have to teach these youth how to not become a product of their environment and not to become, a repetitive cycle and become a statistic. I think if we really strike things at its source, and at the foundation, at the base, then of course anything will crumble. And so, I mean, this is something that I think it needs to start with the youth. I mean, my generation is going through it, and it's something that, by the time I have kids, I don't want it to be a major problem. So we need to strike at the youth and really just teach, educate, and about abuse, and I mean, about all those things. And then, the main causes of it, whether you grew up seeing it or you have anger issues, whatever it is, helping deal kids through those problems and those emotions so that they're not out here hurting others. If I'm literally talking to somebody who's, going through dating violence, the best thing that you can do is put yourself first. And like I said, a lot of times, youth, they're scared, especially females. If they're the victim, they're scared to, tell an adult or tell their parents, or because they know they'll go to the police and it'll become a thing and they can have jail time. But at the end of the day, they can spend time in jail, or you can spend time in the hospital, or you can be in a grave. I mean, it's happened before, and it's countless examples. So you have to learn to put yourself first. This is somebody you love. Well, if you love them, then, them getting their act together is the number one thing, and becoming a better person. So you got to get out of that mentality of, making the excuses for them and helping them, enable them. You got to put yourself first and put them first too, because, you letting this go and letting this abusive behavior continue isn't helping them either. It's not helping anybody. So just learn to put yourself first. I mean, make yourself a priority.